Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 54. Arjuna uvacha Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha Samadhisthasya keshava Sthitadhihi kim prabhasheta Kimasita vrajeta kim. Arjuna uvacha Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha Samadhisthasya keshava Sthitadhihi kim prabhasheta Kimasita vrajeta kim. Arjuna uvacha Arjuna said, Sthita prajnasya, of one who is situated in fixed Krishna consciousness. Ka, what? Bhasha, language. Samadhisthasya, of one situated in trance. Keshava, O Krishna. Sthitadhihi, one fixed in Krishna consciousness. Kim, what? Prabhasheta, speaks. Kim, what? How? Asita, does remain still. Brajeta, walks. Kim, how? Where's this one? Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Tattvavit dāsa Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak and what is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk? Please repeat. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak and what is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk? Purport. As there are symptoms for each and every man in terms of his particular situation, similarly one who is Krishna conscious has his particular nature, talking, walking, thinking, feeling, etc. As a rich man has his symptoms by which he is known as a rich man, as a diseased man has his symptoms by which he is known as diseased, or as a learned man has his symptoms, so a man in transcendental consciousness of Krishna has specific symptoms in various dealings. Let's reduce the volume a little bit. One can know his specific symptoms from the Bhagavad Gita. Most important is how the man in Krishna consciousness speaks. For speech is the most important quality of any man. It is said that a fool is undiscovered as long as he does not speak. And certainly, a well-dressed fool cannot be identified unless he speaks, but as soon as he speaks, he reveals himself at once. The immediate symptom of a Krishna-conscious man is that he speaks only of Krishna and of matters relating to him. Other symptoms then automatically follow, as stated below. So, usually I go in sequence in the verses of Bhagavad Gita, and right now we are in the 10th chapter. But I chose this verse today because tomorrow is a very great, very auspicious day, which is the appearance day of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is the spiritual master or guru of Srila Prabhupada. And he very much emphasized on the bona fide symptoms of a sadhu. Why? For two reasons. One is so that we can actually associate with the proper sadhus. Second reason is that we become a proper sadhu. By associating with proper sadhus, we become proper sadhu. And why should we become even sadhu? What is sadhu? What is the definition of sadhu? That is exactly the question here Arjuna is asking. Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha. A sadhu has to be sthita prajna. That means his intelligence has to be fixed. Fixed on what? Fixed on transcendence, not on anything material. Not that he has to be, like nowadays there are so many motivational speakers who teach that we have to be fixed in our goal, and we have to be having some rituals in place every day to attain that goal. Everybody, if you have to achieve anything, whether material or spiritual, you have to be fixed in your attention towards that goal and the process that takes you there. For example, if I want to become a cricket player or a soccer player or a boxer or a businessman or a scientist, anything that I want excellence in, I have to fix my mind. I have to fix my intelligence in that, right? So here, sthita prajna means not just about fixing our mind on something, because that something itself is not fixed. Because I can become a great sportsman or a businessman or a scientist or this and that, but that platform is not stable. That is not sthita. That is chanchala. My mind has to be fixed on the platform which is also fixed. And only one thing is fixed. It is said in second chapter, nasato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate satah ubhayorapi drishtontas tvanayos tattvadarshibhih. Second chapter, 16th verse. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, which is the material body, there is no endurance. And of the eternals, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. What is the meaning of this? So there is the soul and the body, and anything pertaining to the soul. The soul is eternal. The super soul, the Paramatma, he is also eternal. The spiritual abode is also eternal. Our transaction with the Supreme Lord is also eternal. The method by which this eternal individual soul attains the eternal Supreme Soul in the eternal abode is called the eternal religion, which is Sanatana Dharma. This is the definition of Ramanujacharya, as explained in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita by Srila Prabhupada. So the eternal transaction between the soul and the super soul, the Atma and the Paramatma, is bhakti, service. And if we examine ourselves, anyone, whether materialist, spiritualist, religionist, or atheist, everyone is serving someone, and that service we cannot stop. We cannot stop serving anyone. We have to serve. And that is the eternal occupation. Now we have chosen a wrong master. Instead of choosing Krishna as our master, we have chosen some materialistic man or a woman, or in the name of family, in the name of occupation, in the name of politics. We are always serving someone. And this service cannot be stopped. It doesn't matter whether one is Hindu, Muslim, Christian, atheist or not. He is always serving someone. Here we are not talking about conversion or something like this. Or we are not talking about faith. We are talking about fact. The fact is, we are unable to stop serving someone or the other. So, what should we be serving? Whom should we be serving? That is Sthita Prajna. to be fixed in intelligence. Now our intelligence is not fixed, it's not mature. We are acting like fools right now because we have taken on service to imperfect and more emphatically ruthless masters. Because even after so much service, there is no guarantee of happiness. For example, we go and serve our boss in the office and we get money at the end of the day, and that's what we work for. But money does not equal happiness. Yes, it does answer some of our basic necessity problems temporarily, but that does not mean it solves all our problems. So that service which can solve all our problems, we have to search out. That is human life. That is the meaning of human life. And one who has concluded this search and ended at this point of serving Krishna only, he is designated here as Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajna means Sthita. Sthita means situated, not moving. Prajna means intelligence, fixed. So his intelligence is actually fixed. Now, here it is said that the non-existent, the material body is non-existent. So any achievement or any goal that we set for ourselves in relation with this body is situated on a non-existential platform. It does not exist. It is taken away. So where is the sthita in that? This is chanchala. What is that? Kamala dala jala jivala talamala. Great Vaishnava Acharya, Govinda dāsa, he has written Kamala dala jala jivana talamala. On the leaf of a lotus flower, the lotus leaf, if there is a drop of water, of course the leaf does not get wet. So it moves about, and with the waves of the water, the drop on that leaf is moving about, and any time it can fall into the water. So our life is like that. It's so uncertain. And we are planning for it as if it is certain. Everything is so certain. This is our foolishness. We plan as if this body is going to last forever. Or we have so many plans in our life. But for the spiritual aspect of our life, which we actually are, the Atma is spirit. It does not die. We don't die actually. Our body does. The soul does not. But we are not at all interested or hardly interested in our spiritual upliftment at all. And what is spiritual upliftment? First of all, it's just basics. Understanding who we are. Who am I, first of all? Am I an Indian? Am I a man? Am I a woman? What am I? So Bhagavad Gita answers this question that we are actually the soul, Atma. And that is not enough. Because then the next question follows, which is, where do I belong? Because now I'm thinking I'm this body, and all my sense of belonging is, all the references are made with reference to this body. Because my body is Indian, I think I'm an Indian. Because my body came from this set of parents, I feel that this is my family. I belong to this family. I belong to this city or town or a village. Or I belong to this language or ethnicity. Or this is my kula devata. I belong to this tradition. In this way, we have created a lot of sense of belonging to this material world. But Bhagavad Gita shatters that right in the beginning, saying that we are not the body. So then the implications, the ripple effect of that understanding is that, if I'm not the body, then I'm not Indian, I'm not a human being. I'm not a man. I don't belong to this language. I don't belong to this ethnicity. I don't belong to any of these things. Family. So what do I belong to? I don't belong to anything. Well, that is also not true, because if I don't belong to anything, then I should be totally independent. I should not be dependent on anything. But that is also not true, because we need food, and that arrangement is done by so many people. I need air to breathe. Even the body was not given to me according to my so-called choice. Of course, in one way I chose because of my previous actions, but it's a sentence upon me. Just like a criminal chooses his future in jail by his free will. He acts criminally, and what happens? He is put into jail. But that putting him into jail is by force, by a judge in the court of law. But although it is a force, he chose that path. So there is a combination of destiny and free will. We chose, and then according to that, destiny is awarded to us. So anyway, we are dependent on so many factors even for our sustenance. So I'm not really independent. So then, what and where do I belong to? What am I related to? So that Krishna also answers in the Bhagavad Gita that we are Mamaivamsho Jivaloke Jivabhuta Sanatana. We are eternally parts and parcels of Krishna. So all the agents of our maintenance, for example, our parents, for example, this child, he does not know anything. Completely dependent on the parents, especially so in the beginning on the mother. He has no understanding of anything, completely helpless. So the mother becomes the agent of maintenance for the child, but actually she is only an agent of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord designates the so-called mother in charge of this child, mother and father. So Krishna manages everything through these decentralized agents everywhere. And even if sometimes it so happens that the mother passes away at childbirth, and somehow the child will still survive. Or sometimes becomes orphan, father and mother will, no more. But still somehow the child survives. And sometimes even in the presence of father and mother, child may die. Anything can happen. So we think that we are the providers or anything. But actually we are just agents of the Supreme Lord, and ultimately his will works. So anyway, all this understanding of I'm not this body, and anything pertaining to this body is not mine, and not only me, that applies to everyone. Nobody is a Hindu, nobody is a Christian, nobody is a Muslim, nobody is a man, woman, human being, animal. None of these. These are the external coverings called the bodies. This is the proper understanding of Bhagavad Gita. We are not studying a Hindu scripture here. This is not Hindu. The word Hindu does not exist in any of the Vedas. The Bhagavad Gita also does not say Hindutva. No, this is a newly invented nonsense. There is no such thing as Hindutva or Hinduism. Bhagavad Gita is for all mankind. It existed far beyond the advent of many of the religions that we see today. All of them are basically offshoots of Sanatana Dharma. So, Sthita Prajna means to be a person who is situated in this, fixed in this understanding that I am not this body at all. I don't belong here. I belong to the Supreme Lord. I belong to the spiritual world where I actually came from. And therefore, in his life, he is very much fixed in that domain of activities which will take him there, back to his original position. He's very fixed in that. He's not detracted or distracted by anything that comes in his way, either happiness or distress. Distress is distracting, happiness even more distracting. Because when we are in distress, at least sometimes we come to the Lord. When we are happy, we will never go to the Lord. Even if we are religious, we will forget for the time being. Everything is going good. Our seriousness in solving our problems of life is not. That is explained here. 44. This is not Sthita Prajna. This is the opposite of Sthita Prajna. भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तयापहृत चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधो न विधीयते. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Those who are after sense enjoyment in this material world, they cannot be resolute in their determination. Resolution means not distracted. Ekeha kurunandana. This is the Sthita Prajna. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bahushakha hyanantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose. On this path means on the path of Krishna consciousness, Bhakti Yoga. Are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. O beloved of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. So sometimes I'm interested in this, sometimes I need a break, I'm interested in that, sometimes this, sometimes I'm always flickering. That is not Sthita Prajna. And also there's no real aim in life. It's just being carried away by the wind of time. So we should not be like that. So Sthita Prajna means to be absolutely fixed in the understanding that I am a spirit soul. Aham Brahmasmi means I am spirit. It is never said I am Param Brahmasmi. I am not Param Brahma. Sometimes people, especially Mayavadis, Advaitavadis, they make this mistake. Think that Aham Brahmasmi means I am that, I am the Supreme. No. There is another word for Supreme, Parabrahma. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. Arjuna is saying in the 10th chapter. He called Krishna as Param Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi, Tvam Param Brahmasmi. Krishna is the Parabrahma. So we should never make that mistake of identifying ourselves as the Parabrahma. So I belong to Krishna and my business is to serve Krishna. No matter what happens in this world, my business is to serve Krishna. Such a person is a sadhu. Every other person is not a sadhu. Now Kumbh Mela is going on. And everybody, all the media is focused on Naga sadhus. We have to understand what is actually a sadhu. That's why Arjuna is asking this question today. Let me put that on again. Arjuna Uvacha Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava sthita dhih kim prabhasheta kim asita vrajeta kim. He's asking what are the symptoms by which I can identify a sadhu or a sthita prajna. What are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak and what is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk? And in the purport, Prabhupada, what did he say? The most important symptom of anyone is how he speaks. And that the symptom of a sadhu is how he speaks. And I chose this verse today because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the Guru of Srila Prabhupada, whose appearance day is tomorrow, he always stressed on this point. Always, you should identify a sadhu by hearing, not by seeing. I can wear a big saffron cloth and big beard and mala or completely naked or whatever. That does not signify sadhu at all. Don't go by the externals at all. That is not a sadhu. And if you see all these Naga sadhus, for example, you should talk to them. Then you will understand where they belong. And also, you still cannot understand because you do not know how to. You do not have the rubric on how to judge what is correct talking and what is wrong talking. Because I don't know. If suppose the examiner in an exam, he invigilates the examination papers of the students, right? Now, if he does not know what correct and wrong is, correct and wrong answer, then how is he going to mark the papers? He can't. So not only should we know what is he speaking, but we should know what is actually the message of Krishna. A real sadhu means he repeats what Krishna says. Honestly, he is not a cheater. Let's 4:3. You see this verse. It's a very important verse in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna said right prior to this verse, 2 verses. He said, "I spoke to the sun god before the same signs, and he spoke to his son, and he spoke to his son." Like that, it has been coming down in the parampara. But in the due course of time, the science was lost. And now, in this verse, he says, "Saevayam maya tedya yoga proktaha puratana bhakto sime sakha cheti rahasyam hyeta uttamam." That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. What did he say? That old science which I spoke to the sun god and great Rajarshis. Rajarshi is a very important word again. They are Raj by profession and Rishi by character. Not idiotic rascals who swindle the people of their money by taxes and do nothing better for the humanity. These are not Rajarshis, not just Rajas. Yeah. So I spoke to them, but in the course of time, over time, it became lost. The science of Bhakti Yoga became lost. So he said to Arjuna, I am repeating that same science. Yoga proktaha puratanaha. I'm not speaking something new. Puratanaha. The same old science. No updates. Okay, there is no update in this knowledge. Like software. It's not unlike software. It does not go undergo any update. The same. Puratanaha bhakto sime sakha cheti. Why I chose you, Arjuna? You are not a yogi, you are not a Nagasadhu, you are not a sannyasi, you are not big rishi or muni or something like this. You are just a politician, a warrior who is habituated to kill on a battlefield. Why am I choosing you? There are so many rishis and munis, at that time, right? Why did he choose Arjuna? Bhakto seme sakha cheti. 2 qualifications which Arjuna had, that he was a bhakta. Krishna does not care a fig for any munis or rishis if he is not a bhakta. He does not care. Bhakta has the right attitude towards Krishna. And sakha cheti. He is a friend of Krishna. This is another symptom of sadhu. He is a friend of Krishna. What does friend of Krishna means? That means he does not misrepresent what Krishna wants to say. Not that Krishna says surrender to me and this person says surrender to me. See, I'm repeating what Krishna is saying. That is not friend. That is a rascal. And we will call them out. We will use the word rascal. Actually, it's a very light word, honestly. Sometimes people say that, hey, why are you dressed like this and using this kind of words? Well, Krishna called them Naradhama. Krishna called them, Vimudha. Krishna called them animals. Shva, vid, varaho, ushtra, kharaihe, ass, donkey, dog, frog. These are the words used. Camels, pigs. Vidvaraha. I'm not even making this up. It's actual Sanskrit word I'm saying. Bhagavatam classifies these people as animals. Dvipada Pashu. 2-legged animals. Naradhama means the lowest of mankind. Compared to all these words, rascal is a very nice word. Yeah? Please be satisfied that it was not much worse. So Prabhupada always used the word rascal. This is actual word Krishna is using. Vimudha means what? Vimudha means what? Mudha means fool. Vimudha means Vikrishta Rupena Mudha. Special fool. Highly foolish. Krishna does not mince his words. He does not. So those who misrepresent what Krishna says, like for example, I give an example. We call a certain person called Mahatma Gandhi. He is not a Mahatma by definition of Krishna. Krishna says, who is Mahatma? Because Krishna has to define that certificate. God has to define who is Mahatma. Not some, vox populi. The popular vote of people that decides who is Mahatma. No. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate Vasudeva sarvamiti sa Mahatma. And Sudurlabha. Durlabha means what? Durlabha means what? Very difficult to get. Sudurlabha means very, very difficult to get. Very difficult to find such a Mahatma. Who is that? After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Great soul is Mahatma, some Mahatma, who surrenders to Krishna, not to some country. And also, he screwed up the country, honestly. If you really know the history, he screwed up the entire country. He's not Mahatma. So, Mahatma means one who surrenders to Krishna, not that he uses Bhagavad Gita for his political maneuvers. No, that's not Mahatma. Arjuna used politics in service of Krishna. This so-called Mahatma used Krishna in the service of his politics. There is a difference. There's a huge gulf of difference there. He used his religion to further his politics, whereas Arjuna engaged in politics to pursue religion. It was called Dharma Yuddha. The Kurukshetra war is called Dharma Yuddha. Ramayana and Mahabharata, why do we study? They were Dharma Yuddhas, not the ordinary Second World War, First World War, or Israel-Palestine war, or Ukraine-Russia war. Why don't we study that so much? That is different. That is Karma Yuddha. They are paying for their own karma and they're dying. If we kill animals, of course we will be killed. This way or that way. There will be war, there will be famine, there will be earthquakes, there will be all these natural disasters. Everything will happen if we commit our sinful activities. This is Karma Yuddha. And Dharma Yuddha means when Arjuna was actually completely disinterested to fight. He was not interested in the kingdom. He said to Krishna already in the first chapter itself, I don't want this kingdom. Let them have it. I will go to the forest. I don't really need this. I don't have to have so much bloodshed just to enjoy myself. I don't need this. And that is a very saintly position, right? But Krishna condemned it. Krishna said, I don't care whether you don't want to fight or not. I want this fight. Even if you don't fight, they are going to be killed. That is my plan. Don't think that because you run away, they are going to be saved. No, they will be killed. And I want you to rule this kingdom so that you will guide the people properly to become devotees of Krishna. That is real dharma samsthapanarthaya. How to establish dharma unless we have support from the government. The Brahmanas, they teach. Kshatriyas, they implement. Vaishyas, they support monetarily. And Shudras, they serve. So everyone is necessary. Just like all parts of the body are necessary. The head, the arms, the belly, and the legs. All are necessary. So similarly, the society has all these 4 divisions. These are not some caste discrimination for, caste divisions for discrimination. No, these are actually very scientific divisions of human society. You may remove the names called Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, but they will remain. You will call them employment pass, you will call them work permit, you will call them S pass and all this. Or what is that? Investment PR. You may call different names. But it is same things. There is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Now, so a Mahatma is a person who surrenders to Krishna. That means he does whatever Krishna asks him to do. Surrender means not that I have a plan and I will do it. And the result, I just surrender to Krishna. Let Krishna decide what the result will be. Karm karo, phal ki ichcha mat karo. Simplified nonsense of Bhagavad Gita. That's not Bhagavad Gita. That's not surrender. That's no surrender at all. Because you still have your own plan. You just don't want to be feeling too bad. So, what if I lose after all my effort? Then I will be very much distraught. So, therefore, I surrender to Krishna. Let Krishna decide what the result will be. No, no, no. Let Krishna decide what your action will be, first of all. What should I even do in life? Not that I have my own plan and I do something and then decide and then give to Krishna. So please decide for me. If you decide against also, it's okay. So what are you talking about? First of all, before starting any plan, Sarvarambha Parityagi, a devotee means gives up all plans, takes up Krishna's plan and executes his plan. Krishna wants us to become his devotee. Manmana bhavamad bhakta madhyaji mam namaskuru. So a devotee takes up that. And Krishna wants Paritrana sadhunam vinashaya sudushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya. Dharma samsthapana is his mission in this world. That's why he comes here. So that we will be benefited by that dharma. He does not benefit from that dharma. For our benefit, he comes and speaks Bhagavad Gita and he sets examples, sends devotees how to teach us how to be a devotee. So he does all these arrangements for us. So if we can also contribute to that mission of Dharma Samsthapana, then we satisfy Krishna. So this Dharma Samsthapana happens. How to establish Dharma actually? How to establish this Dharma in this human society? By speaking, by repeating what Krishna says. Krishna says, surrender to me. A devotee, an honest devotee, he will say, surrender to Krishna. That's why he says, Arjuna, I am speaking this to you because you are my friend. You will not betray me. What I say, you will tell the same thing to others. You will not twist my words and misrepresent me. You are not a crook. You are my honest friend. You are my devotee and my friend. And therefore, Arjuna, I chose you. Because even a Muni Rishi can be crooked if he is not devotee. If he has his own philosophy, different from Krishna, whatever that philosophy may be, it is defective. It does not matter. It does not matter how famous he is on YouTube. It does not matter how many people study his book or what he has to say. It absolutely does not matter. Only one thing matters. Is he repeating what Krishna is saying or not? Whether 8 billion of all the humanity on earth, even if they were all his followers, if he is not speaking what Krishna is saying, he has to be rejected as a rascal. Again, a light word in comparison to many of the other words used in our Shastra. Yeah? He is a rascal, number one. It does not matter how many followers he has. Don't go by, oh, so many people listen to him. How can so many people be wrong? Yes, so many people are wrong. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yat siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschit vyaktinam tattvatah. Krishna says, the person who actually understands me is an absolute minority. Rare soul. Sudurlabha. You can hardly find him. Kotishvapi mahamune. Koti means what? 1 crore. Out of many crores, of many millions of billions of Mahamunis, a Narayana Parayana is very, very, or a devotee is very, very difficult to find. So, as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, go and identify a sadhu by hearing whether he is exactly repeating what Krishna is saying or not. So for that we have to know what Krishna is saying. That's why please read Bhagavad Gita. Please read the Bhagavatam. Our scriptures are there. Acharyas have explained in a language we can understand. None of us can understand Sanskrit now. So Prabhupada has translated into English so that we can understand. And he put word-to-word meanings, you see. If you want to check and learn Sanskrit also, you can learn, you see. Mam, unto me, prapadyate, surrenders, Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is the son of Vasudeva. Sarvam, everything, iti, does, saha. You see all this word-to-word meaning. So much effort has been put by Srila Prabhupada for us to understand. And yet we don't read, we don't have time. We have time to read all nonsense, but no time to read this. So we have to put in effort. Then, most important symptom is what? Speaking. So we have to identify a sadhu by how he speaks, right? Whether he's repeating Krishna's word. So repeating Krishna's word means, how do I know I'm repeating Krishna's word? Again, next question. I should quote from the Shastra. I can never just, previously this was the standard. If in a spiritual circle, you see, let's go to that verse. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vanmayam tapa uchyate. Now here, austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. So usually a sadhu does not agitate others. But when it comes to dissecting between truth and untruth, he is merciless, ruthless in his division, in his criticism of false words, untruth. Why? Because they will harm people. If I say that Krishna is not God, I am harming that individual. Whoever is hearing, he is being harmed because he is taken away from the real message of God. I am doing the opposite of Dharma Samsthapana. I am undoing what Krishna did. And that is a grave offense. And I have to be very sharp against that. And that is the characteristic of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, whose appearance day is tomorrow. He was so sharp in his criticism of pseudo-religion, irreligion masked as religion. This is the biggest problem today. Outright irreligion, atheism is easy to spot. If somebody says, I don't believe in God, it's easy to spot that. When someone actually wears sadhu, he wears saffron color or some mala and beard, some tika, whatever he has on his forehead. And he sometimes even quotes shlokas from the Shastra and yet presents a wrong conclusion than what Krishna said. That is far difficult to spot. Unless one is very experienced, he cannot spot. And with that come huge problems, massive problems. That's Mr. Radha. So we will briefly touch upon that. Now let's go to the purport of this verse. Prabhupada explains something very important here. Also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. See? Regularly reciting Vedic literature. Not just reciting, like a Ratta Marofa, simply sit down one day and then, chant all the shlokas in sequence. That's not the recitation. Recitation means chanting, understanding, applying, and teaching others how to do all this. It has to have practical significance in our lives. Today, a so-called Panditji is relegated to a guy who just comes, okay, Panditji, come do the ceremony for me, that's it. They don't learn anything. They think Panditjis are, they're not very intelligent, just they can chant some shlokas, but actually they don't know really how things work. And they also become like that almost. Real Pandit is actually who understands the scriptures so well that he can explain this to anyone and everyone, and he can challenge the entire worldview of the materialist. Like how Prabhupada did it. He, from Bhagavad Gita, challenged the scientists that man did not land on the moon, he said. Because Nakshatrana Maham Shashi, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, among the stars and the moon, Krishna says. Immediately Prabhupada took it and then challenged the scientists. What did he say in the purport? That People think the moon, stars are like the sun, or sun is a star. But Krishna says, Nakshatrana Maham Shashi. Among the stars, I am the moon. That means the moon is one of the stars. That means the stars are not like the sun. They are more like the moon, which reflect the light of the sun, which is very, very different from what modern scientists would say. And he also said that man did not land on the moon. And actually, they did not. In 1969, we were taught a farce. We were taught a lie in our schools that man landed on the moon. Okay, then why are there not school excursions by now? All the photo and video evidence is lost suddenly, conveniently. They don't have, NASA does not have records. All the photos all lost. But some intelligent people, they captured some and kept, which NASA also does not have in their own archive. They kept. Fully nicely, you can see that they never went to the moon. They shot it in Arizona, Nevada desert. Okay? But we were taught this lie. And if I say like this, people question, how can you say like that? Okay, my question is, how can you say that they went to the moon you saw? No, it was there on the TV. Yeah. Jurassic Park was also there on the TV. Okay? You can do anything. In fact, I feel the Jurassic CGI is much better than that moon landing. They have done much better job. And today there are Interstellar. There are so many things which we can do on TV. Okay? So, from this is how we have Pandit means like this. It has to have practical signal. That's why I always the other day also I was saying Chandrayaan mission. Indians are very proud. Oh, we landed on the south pole of the moon. Okay. Very proud. Why are you not questioning your own Shastras where it is said there is Somarasa on the moon, there is Chandradev on the moon? Where is the Chandradev? So is it all just mythological stories only? What is going on? Why it does not match our Shastra? That means if it does not match, then why should I even believe in Shastra? Why should I even be religious? Why should I even do this then? And the ISRO chairman says, oh, before every launch, we go to the Tirupati Balaji temple and pray for them. So we don't find a real disparity between science and religion. We go to religion to get blessings for science. And they say, oh, wow, vareva, vareva, vareva. Everybody clapping. Ah, this is Hindutva, this is Hindutva. What a fool. I mean, if you are so interested in religion, okay, you're so religious, you have to question. Your scriptures say something about the moon, which is not what you're seeing with your telescope and your machine or whatever, rocket. You're not seeing the same thing. Forget about Somaras, there is no air to breathe on the moon. What is happening? Then why should I believe any of the statements of the Vedas anymore? Because it's absolutely complete opposite of what the moon is and what is described there. Moon is described as one of the heavenly planets, And the Chandra, he's there, and there is Somaras. It's famous for that beverage of Somaras, where they drink this beverage and then they become extremely long-lived. Where is that? Forget about that. Water is not there, air is also not there. So, and they're looking for water in the South Pole. Maybe some crater will have some ice. What happened to your Somarasa description? So should we not question? Should we not investigate? Actually, why is there disparity? Why do our Vedas describe it like this? No thought even. Proud to be Indian, going to the temple, praying for a launch and landing on the moon. Right? Have some, intelligent understanding of religion at least. Don't be so stupid like this. Of course, there's a whole explanation on why it is so. It's a different topic and we don't have time for that now. But this is something we have to know, that Vedas are relevant documents given to us by the one who created the whole world, not by the scientists who are still trying to figure out this world. The person who created the entire world, the entire universe, Krishna, he's saying these are Vedanta Krit. He's saying I compile the Vedas. So Krishna is some lunatic or what? To describe the lunar surface as some heavenly planet. Why will Krishna describe like that in the Vedas about the moon? That's why we say, oh, it is all Hindu mythology. We have answers about relativity. Einstein came up with relativity theory, right? The time and space, it's not fixed. That is already there in our Bhagavad Gita, 1 verse, 8th chapter, 17th verse talks about relativity of time. Just 1 verse, 4 lines. It's a not even an important topic of discussion in Bhagavad Gita. It's just one of the 700 verses. It's not even a very great verse. And that is already describing relativity, which is considered, greatest genius, scientist Albert Einstein have said relativity, this and that. Already mentioned. And there are many historical pastimes, leelas, that are mentioned where this relativity of time and travel to different planets was described as if it's like nothing. As if you go to, Changi Airport, as inconsequential as that's not a very special journey, right? From here to Changi Airport, nothing really special about it. It was these pastimes of interplanetary travels were described as if they were that unimportant. And the relativity of time is also mentioned as if it's that unimportant. Because our subject that we discuss in Bhagavad Gita is far, far, far more superior. We should understand the gravity of the knowledge that we're actually reading here. It's not simply some Gita part karenge. What? After that, do what? Do same nonsense. It's not simply some spiritual entertainment. Weekly once I'll come and hear some class and then go back and do my own thing. That's not what it's supposed to be. It's meant to change our life, revolutionize our lives. Not only on an individual level, but the entire world level. All the different United Nations and all these will fail if they don't take Bhagavad Gita as their guiding principle. That's why Shankaracharya said, Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam. One constitution is enough to govern the entire world. Bhagavad Gita. No need of all these constitutional laws. Bhagavad Gita is enough to guide the entire world to peace. So, sadhu means who establishes dharma samsthapana for the benefit of the whole world. And he does so by speaking about religion, honestly, not distorted. So now here, honest means I should quote, you see, one should not talk nonsense. You see, one should not speak in such a way as to agitate the minds of others. Of course, when a teacher speaks, he can speak the truth for the instruction of his students, but such a teacher should not speak to those who are not his students if he will agitate their minds. This is penance as far as talking is concerned. Besides that, one should not talk nonsense. The process of speaking in spiritual circles is to say something upheld by the scriptures. One should at once quote from scriptural authority to back up what he is saying. At the same time, such talk should be very pleasurable to the ear. By such discussions, one may derive the highest benefit and elevate human society. There is a limitless stock of Vedic literature, and one should study this. This is called penance of speech. This is very important. And today, the situation is there is so much adharma going on in the name of dharma. Recently, some social reformers in India, they are trying to say that, we Hindus should not be divided. We should unite, otherwise we cannot stand against other adharmic forces. That is not possible. We cannot unite unless everybody accepts the conclusions given by God. So what Bhagavad Gita says, everybody has to accept. We can unite, provided we listen to Krishna. Some people immediately question, why only Krishna? Why not Shiva? Why not Ganesh? Why not Durga? Why not? Or why not? Why not? Why not this? Why not that? Why not now Sai Baba? Ayappa. Now, these things are coming in because, first of all, there is no reading of Bhagavad Gita. When did Sai Baba become God? He did not. He is a man. Okay? Let's not conflate the idea between man and God. This is the reason why we should know Bhagavad Gita. Because Krishna is describing, he showed his Vishwarupa, Virat Rupa, to display what God can do. And he is also saying many things, and he also did many things when he came here to show that he is God. Today, we do not know what God is, what is the symptom of. Just like Arjuna is asking, who is a sadhu? Similarly, we should know who God is. What are the symptoms of God? How can we identify who God is? There are so many gods. Which one is God actually? Or are all same? All these answers we have in the Bhagavad Gita. All of these. But the problem is we don't read. And therefore, we get stuck with our sentiments. Oh, my grandfather, great-grandfather, they all worship so and such Kula Devata. So therefore, I should also worship. This is my God. This is my favorite God. All these things. What is favorite God? Just like Prime Minister of a country is one person. I cannot say my favorite Prime Minister. Of course, I can say from the past. If I can talking about history of all Prime Ministers, that's another thing. But I cannot say, according to me, the Prime Minister is so and so. No, there's no such thing as according to me. Prime Minister is such and such person. That is a fact. So similarly, if that is true even for an ordinary human being, you think God, we can just speculate that I worship this God. I feel Shiva is God. But Shiva feels differently. Have you found out what Shiva feels? Lord Shiva is saying, Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam param. You don't care about Lord Shiva actually, if you say that Lord Shiva is God. Because you must hear what Lord Shiva is saying. He is saying that Vishnu is God. Vishnu is supreme. Krishna says, Mattah Parataram Nanyat in the Bhagavad Gita. There is nobody equal to me or superior to me. That is what Krishna is saying. And Shiva is saying there is nobody superior to Krishna. Brahma is saying there is nobody superior to Krishna. Ishvara Paramam Krishna. Sachidananda Vigraha. So we are saying this person is God, that person, but they are saying Krishna is God. So we don't actually care for what they say. We just are sentimentally attached to just worshipping them. All this happens because we don't read. We don't read. We don't conduct ourselves according to the Shastra. This is our biggest problem. So we should know what Shastra is, what Shastra is actually saying. So here you see 7:15-12 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Vidharmaha paradharmascha abhasa upama chalaha adharma shakhaha panchema dharmagyo dharmavat tyajet. There are 5 branches of irreligion, appropriately known as irreligion, vidharma, religious principles for which one is unfit, paradharma, pretentious religion, abhasa, analogical religion, upadharma, and cheating religion, chaladharma. All these are adharmas. One who is aware of real religious life must abandon these 5 as irreligious. And today, a lot of people are propagating this type of religions. And let's see, 1832 Bhagavad Gita. Adharmam dharmamitiya manyate. Actually, we'll see all these 3 verses together, then we will see, get the context. 1830. Okay. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha karya karye bhaya bhaye bandham moksham cha ya vetti buddhihi sapartha satviki. O son of Pritha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness. So what is sinful, what is actually pious, what is religious life, what is irreligious life, if he knows what is what, he is sattvic person. He is properly guided. He knows what is to be done, what is not to be done. Now, next. And a lot of Hindus are in this category. Okay, this is the next. Yaya dharmam adharmam cha karyam cha karyam eva cha ayathavat prajanati buddhihi sapartha rajasi. O son of Pritha, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion. between action that should be done and the action that should not be done is in the mode of passion. This is classic Hindu today. He is unable to distinguish between religion and irreligion. He is not able to distinguish between a religious person and a non-religious person. If somebody dresses like a religious man, he takes him sadhu. And sometimes, especially people like us who just speak it like it is and we don't mince words, they say that, oh, what kind of sadhu is he? How is he speaking like this? He's not speaking peacefully. He's agitated. He's angry. He's using harsh words. Well, Krishna uses harsh words, so we will repeat. Not that we are only harsh. We are harsh against cheating. Of course, we should be harsh against cheating. If I'm not, then what kind of a honest man am I? Right? If there is a thief, and I say without hiding that here is a thief, be careful about him, then that person who's a thief may not like it, and people may not like it. That, hey, how come he's talking like this? Well, if you know that person, you will know that he's a thief. So a person, sadhu means he has to be honest. Even at the risk of being criticized, he has to be honest. There is a very nice quote by Saint Augustine, a Christian saint. He said, if the entire world stands against the truth, then I stand against the world. We're not here to appease the world. We are not. That's actually a very powerful statement, because it's easy to stand for the truth when the whole world is standing for the truth. I'm just fitting in, blending in. But if the whole world is against the truth, then he says, I'm against the world. That's how we should be. That's how we should never be cowering under the threat of power and compromise speaking the truth. We should speak the truth nonetheless, no matter what the situation, no matter who the audience. We should just honestly present what Shastra says. Then that will benefit those who hear. He may not like it. That doesn't matter. A child does not like to take medicine. That does not matter. The medicine should still be administered. So this is the problem that happens when we do not read the Shastra, the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. We will be left unable to distinguish between religion and irreligion. We will not be able to distinguish who is a religious person, who is not, who is God and who is not, who is a sadhu and who is not. We will not be able to distinguish. An action that should be done, an action that should not be done. Coming back to the same example of the Chandrayaan mission, for example. Now, there are a lot of people who commend such scientific advancement, technological advancement, and recently Elon Musk, he created this rocket which can land back. Engineering marvel, no doubt about it. But is it worth it? Well, let's talk about what Elon Musk has done. And is it already mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita? For spoiler alert, it was already mentioned. Okay. Tetam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam kshine punyam martyalokam vishanti evam trayi dharmam anuprapanna gatagatam kama kama labhante. Now he is talking about going to Mars. Okay. And it's touted as the forefront of pioneering technology and vision and at the frontier of science and technological advancement, right? It's considered in Bhagavad Gita, according to Bhagavad Gita, it's considered a very futile attempt, and it has already been done in the past. People already went to other planets, in fact, interacted with life there fully, and came back, and they are condemned for it. Look. Tetam bhuktva sargalokam vishalam kshine punyam martya lokam vishanti. This verse is not a very important verse of Bhagavad Gita, and it's talking about returning to the earth planet again. Okay? Here it said, when they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure, this is talking about those who go to the other planets and actually enjoy there, not like struggling in a spacesuit and unable to breathe and having pressure and all. Now you see two people are stuck in a space station there, like Trishanku, they are, suspended in space. Neither can go up, neither can go down. Stuck there. Talking about going to Mars and coming back. Talking about, we have gone to the moon and came back in 96. Now, hey, the two people sitting there in 2025 in the space station, you can't even bring them back. 8 months they have been there. And you're talking that, you went to the moon and came back. I have to believe your statement now. Think. Don't be fooled. We can easily be fooled when we cannot see things as they are. We can easily be hoodwinked. When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Let's talk about Elon Musk returning his rocket back to the earth. It came without people. Okay, it was just an unmanned rocket which sent something, payload, and then came back. Here we're talking about people going and coming back to other planets and actually experiencing life there, interacting with life there, fully enjoying it there, and coming back. And still it is condemned. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartinos, in the farthest planet in the universe, which is the Brahma Loka, even that is condemned. In Bhagavad Gita 8th chapter 16th verse, said that even if you go there, there's going to be repeated birth and death. Not worth it. Not worth your time and effort. Aim to go to that planet, because we are also after going to planets, not simply any planet. Vaikuntha. There is a planet, not one planet, millions of Vaikunthas, and there is one Goloka Vrindavan, which is the supreme Vaikuntha planet, which is Krishna's planet. We want to go there. Spacecraft and all these rockets won't take you there. In fact, that's not the proper way to go, even to these material planets here in this universe. We have to have our actions, and we will be rewarded in the next life according to our actions in this life. For example, with our present body, we cannot live on the sun. We cannot. But the sun, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I spoke to the sun god, this same Bhagavad Gita. I spoke to the president of the sun planet, this same Bhagavad Gita, 120,400,000 years ago. Krishna said. How did he speak? Whom did he speak to? Who is there on the sun? Millions of degrees of heat. Who will even survive? Well, it's very easy. We have a body made of earth, and therefore it is suitable to live on earth. On the sun, they have fiery bodies made of fire with which they can comfortably live on the sun. Very easily. You just have to have a different body. The soul can live anywhere. It's not limited by these limitations that we think are limitations based on the body that we have now. It's like we can't live in the water, but there are other living entities with suitable bodies to live there, right? Similarly, every single portion of the universe is full with life, not like the scientists say that, where is life? Where is extraterrestrial life? It's everywhere. We are unable to perceive. That's another thing. Like we can't perceive ghosts, for example. So similarly, perceive life on other planets, it requires a different set of hardware, different set of senses. It's not all how we expect it to be like on Earth. We can't expect life to be the same way on other planets. It's not. So anyway, it's all condemned. Going to this planet and that planet is all condemned because we have to go to the eternal planet from which we never have to come back. That is real success. If you can go to the planet and live there forever, never to die again, that is something worthwhile to explore, right? And Krishna gives us that information. So don't waste your time with ISRO or DRDO or NASA. Now, if you go with NASA, your life will become sarvanash. That will happen. Like those two people in the space station. And not just that. you're wasting your life. It's actually sarvanash, because human life is so valuable that you have this window of opportunity. You are eternal. You are living for millions and millions of years in different bodies. Sometimes as a tree for thousands of years. Sometimes as an insect. Sometimes as an elephant. Sometimes 8.4 million species. And now you have gotten this human body. It's a very small window of opportunity in which you can make a complete solution, so that you don't have to waste another millions and millions and billions of years taking repeated birth and death in different species. But if we waste that golden opportunity trying to go to other planet, it's an engineering marvel to bring a rocket back like that. It looked like a sci-fi movie. Yeah, all that spectacle aside, the purpose is not worthwhile. Just because something is difficult to do does not mean it is worthwhile to do. It is difficult to become a top class boxer in this world, like Mike Tyson. But is it worth getting hit on your head multiple times like that? It's not good for the brain even. It's not worth it. So is it worth doing something just because it is difficult? There are some people who do solo climbing. What is that? Free soloing. You know what is free solo? You don't know? And the mountain climbers, they have these harness, the ropes, and some people climb whole mountains without anything. No safety at all. The greatest guy who does that is Alex Honnold. I don't know if you know. Alex Honnold, American. So he climbs mountains, like rock climbing, all the way to the top of the mountain without any safety. If he misses something, he just falls to his death. And some people actually fell to their death. He did not until now. But they do these things. It is very difficult to do. But is it worth? Well, a lizard does it. In your house, it scares you doing just that. So by their doing that, they are just preparing their lives to become lizards next life. So is it worth? It looks like a spectacle. Oh wow, it's a very great thing. Yeah. But what is the result? Become a lizard next life. You can climb all you want, whatever rock you want, you can climb. You will never. You're that's why it's called chipkali. Your hand will stick. You will never fall. So it's not worth. Just because something is great, it's not worth. So Vedas are very perfect because they will tell you everything. Oh, you want to go to other planets? Well, I will already tell you what is there on the other planets. It's not worth it. Okay, here it is said. Evam lokam param vidyan nashwaram karma nirvitam satulyatishaya dhvamsam yatha mandalavartina. You see here, anybody wanting to go to other planets, one cannot find permanent happiness even on the heavenly planets, because there are different types of planets. Some are hellish planets, honestly, suffering and nothing but suffering there. But even if you go to the better planets, which are heavenly, Swargalok, one cannot find permanent happiness, which one can attain in the next life by ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices. The process is not go there by spacecraft and all these things. No. If you do pious activities, then you will be afforded a body to live there. Even in material heaven, the living entity is disturbed by rivalry with his equals and envy of those superior to him. And since one's residence in heaven is finished by the exhaustion of pious fruitive activities, the denizens of heaven are afflicted by fear, anticipating the destruction of their heavenly life. Thus, they resemble kings who, though enviously admired by ordinary citizens, are constantly harassed by enemy kings, who therefore never attain actual happiness. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. So we should understand what we should be after, and what is actually religion, what is correct, what is wrong. Now, when we do not know who is religious, who is God and who is not, who is actually a sadhu and who is not, then we fall into this trap. We run the risk of falling into the trap of following someone or some method which is not authorized by God. then this golden opportunity of human life is lost. Why are we gambling away our life, following something which just because I feel a connection with this guru, so therefore I'll follow. That's not the criterion on which you select a guru. Whether you feel a connection or not, whether he's connected to Krishna or not, that you have to see. Whether because if I'm a drunkard, I will like a guru who will teach me how to drink. I feel a connection. Every domain has some kind of teacher. If you want to learn soccer, you go to a soccer coach and you'll feel a connection because he's teaching you what you want to learn. So that's not what we should look for. Or because I feel good. That's again not the criterion whether I feel good or not. Here, you definitely will not feel good because you will be asked to wake up early in the morning at 4 a.m. You will not like it. So it's not about what makes you feel good for today, for tomorrow, for short term feel good. That's not what we're after here. We are like the child. He does not feel good going to school, but you push him anyway. Why? Because you know that if he actually studies, his future will be better off. That is called Shreya. Shreya means you're looking for his eventual ultimate benefit, whereas he's just looking for, I want to be happy now. Preya, that is called Preya. And Shreya means the opposite. Take some difficulty now so that you can be happy later. So we should be interested in what is actually beneficial for us. And if I do not know where to go, then there's a very good chance I'll be cheated. Now, this is where the most dangerous path is. Adharmam dharmamitya manyate tamasavrita sarvartham viparitamscha buddhehi sapartha tamasi. Okay. That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion, under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in the wrong direction of Partha, is in the mode of ignorance. Today, we Hare Krishna people are sometimes criticized by Hindus, saying that, oh, you are just like Abrahamic religions, you're saying there is only one God. Whereas our Hinduism is very flexible, we have many gods, you can choose your God. That means you have never read Bhagavad Gita. You have never read Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says very clearly, he condemns he calls them avidhipurvakam if you worship other devatas. And he says, I am actually the supreme, you should worship only me. Mamekam sharanam vraja, sarva dharman parityajya. What is parityag? Means to give up. He says, sarva dharman parityajya. Give up all dharma. How come? Mamekam sharanam vraja. Because this is real dharma. All the things you have thought of as dharma, if they are devoid of surrender to me, they are not even dharma. Give up all of them. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Surrender to me alone exclusively. That is not Abrahamic. In fact, the word Abraham comes from the word Brahma. Even Lord Brahma is also saying, Ishvara Parama Krishna. The word Ibrahim or Abraham, all coming from the word Brahma actually. But anyway, you can find these links everywhere in the Vedas. But the thing is, this sentence was spoken by Krishna way before these religions even came into existence. And God is one. And Krishna says, I am the one. Like it or not, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. And a guru unequivocally speaks the truth. Speaks this. Whether people like him or not. Whether people criticize him or not. So, here it is said, in the purport, Prabhupada mentions very nicely, intelligence in the mode of ignorance is always working the opposite of the way it should. It accepts religions which are not actually religions. Thanks to, Sai Baba, for example. Within Hinduism, he is worshipped as God when he is not. Let's be honest, he is a Muslim man. That's what he was. And people worship him as God From where did you get that idea? Which Shastra says he's God? Even Kalki Avatar, who is going to come 427,000 years later, is already predicted in the Bhagavatam. That is Shastra. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who came 500 years ago, was predicted in the Bhagavatam 5,000 years ago. Buddha, who came 2,600 years ago, was predicted in the Bhagavatam 5,000 years ago. Every avatar will be mentioned in the Shastra. If he is not mentioned, reject him. Reject. No compromise. Don't compromise. Oh, what if he's God? Something will happen to me. I'll be cursed. No, you will not be cursed. If you have this doubt, yeah, you will be cursed. But if you know what is the truth, you will not be cursed. So we should be very, very sharp in our judgment. We should judge people. They say, oh, don't judge. We should judge. Because you have to choose your company, na? You got to choose your company. Oh, be in good company. Don't associate with bad people. How do you know whether good or bad if I'm not to judge? Of course I should judge. But I should judge based on what Krishna said. Those criteria. If I'm going to take someone as guru, I have to judge whether he's a proper guru or not. If I'm worshipping someone, I should judge whether he's God or not. Otherwise, I'm going to be hoodwinked wholesale. Hook, line, and sinker, as they say. It accepts religion which are not actual religions and rejects actual religion. Men in ignorance understand a great soul to be a common man and accept a common man as a great soul. Mahatma Gandhi, they called him. He's a common man. But he was termed as Mahatma. In fact, common man is better than him. So many people died because of him, because of stupidity. And actual great man, who is Prabhupada, and they think, for example, another unpopular opinion that Hare Krishnas have, that the Hindus find it unpopular, is that we are against Vivekananda, for example. Vivekananda misrepresented our Sanatana Dharma so badly, not even like close. First of all, he used to eat meat. Okay? You cannot be called a Swami when you have zero control over your senses. He's not even a vegetarian to be at the basic level. And he's Swami. Swami Vivekananda. How come? What happened to your standards? That's why Arjuna asked, what is the symptom of a person who's actually a Sthita Prajna? How does he eat? How does he walk? How does he sit? He's asking these questions. What does he speak? Did he say that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Vivekananda? He does not say that. Immediately reject him. Doesn't matter how many people considered him a great soul. They do not know how to consider a great soul. They are of this category. They accept a common man as a great soul and a great soul as a common man. They are of this category. And they are the majority. This democracy idea of majority wins is nonsense. Krishna says, only the absolute minority understand me. Absolute minority. 1 in a million, 1 in a billion. Yeah. So, in this world, everybody is misled. So we should not just be, oh, everybody is saying, how can everybody be wrong? Yeah, everybody is wrong. Only Krishna is correct. That's why it is said, if the world stands against the truth, I stand against the world. Because I stand for the truth. It doesn't matter if nobody else accepts it. They think truth to be untruth and accept untruth as truth. In all activities, they simply take the wrong path. Therefore, their intelligence is in the mode of ignorance. This is tamasic buddhi. They do not know how to distinguish what is what. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who's a great Acharya, whose appearance day is tomorrow, he taught us this thing of how to accept a sadhu by hearing rather than seeing. And in fact, he wrote another thing where he said, sadhu actually speaks sharp words that cut the illusion of the people in this material world. Actually, for the person who understands things as they are nectar. But for the person who is misled, it may appear sharp. But actually, he only desires our total well-being. He does not try to just satisfy us for the time being. He wants us to be happy forever. That's why sometimes his words cut our illusion, and that's why they appear a little painful. But if we can take those and you know follow through with them, then our life will be actually successful. So I'd like to stop here. Any questions or comments on this topic? Again, somebody is asking, what about Swaminarayan? People consider him also incarnation of God. Well, Shastra does not say it. Narayan is God, but Swaminarayan is their guru. No? Akshardham and all this, they worship Swaminarayan. But again, where in the Shastras? There's no mention in the Shastras at all. A guru is one thing, but if he's saying he's God or people worship him as God, like Prabhupada, he's guru. And we do sing every day, Sakshat Dharitvena Samasta Shastra. We should worship him as good as God because he is carrier of the message of God. But we never say that Prabhupada is Krishna. That is Mayavad. We never say he's God. He does not like it as well. He will kill us if you say that. How can somebody allow himself to be called as God or incarnation of God? What is he teaching? So we don't accept whoever it is. If he says the incarnation of God and is not mentioned in the Shastras, reject him first thing, without any hesitation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is mentioned as incarnation, Buddha is incarnation, Kalki is incarnation. Other than this, there is no one else in Kali Yuga. So he's not. In fact, Prabhupada said there one point where their guru, he said that Swaminarayan's teaching is that even if Krishna asks us to eat meat, we will not eat meat. Prabhupada said that is nonsense. If Krishna asks us to eat meat, we should eat meat. We should be obeying what Krishna says. Of course, Krishna does not ask us to eat meat. That's another thing. But if there is a choice between following Krishna's words and following what we think is right, we should follow Krishna's word. Classic example is in the Mahabharata war when Krishna asked Yudhishthira to lie to Dronacharya that your son Ashwatthama is dead. Because if Ashwatthama is dead, Dronacharya would not continue and he could easily be killed. Now, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he wanted Yudhishthira Maharaj to say it because Dronacharya will believe Yudhishthira. If Bhima said it, nobody will believe because Bhima can lie. But if Yudhishthira Maharaj says that he must be right. So he asked Yudhishthira Maharaj to say that lie. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was more concerned about being a truthful man than to follow Krishna's instruction of lying. So therefore, he had to see hell for 1 hour after they all went to Himalayas in the end. The reason was this, that he did not lie when Krishna asked him to. If we say vegetarianism is non-violent but eating animals is violence, vegetables have life. The rice that we are harvesting, they have life. The plants have life. Potato, you are uprooting the whole plant. Carrots, radish, ginger, uprooting the entire plant and eating the root. Is that very sane? Very humane thing to do? To uproot somebody's life and eat it? What is that? Where is the non-violence in eating plants? Why are we so much for vegetarianism? Therefore, we are not vegetarianists. We are followers of Krishna. Krishna asks us to eat vegetable category by offering him first. Without offering him, even vegetables are full of sin. If we eat vegetables, that is also full of sin. We have to eat only Krishna Prasadam. So, we have to offer it to him because Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Offer to me in the vegetarian category and then you eat. Then that is sinless food. And because Krishna said so, that is sinless. There's no logic that, vegetable life is not so important or does not have life. When you kill an animal, you are killing a life. You are killing a life nonetheless. Of course, if you pluck a fruit, that's another thing. But in many cases, we kill so much life. Even in harvesting of crops, there are other animals which are sometimes killed. Pests are killed. So much killing is going on even to get our vegetarian food on our plates. So the only way, there is fault everywhere. The only way it becomes faultless is when we act on Krishna's order. Like a classic example Prabhupada gave, if a soldier kills 100 people on a battlefield, he is awarded, Medal of Honor, bravery award. But when he comes and takes a gun and shoots 2 people on the street, he will put inside jail or even sometimes hanged. He cannot argue that, hey, I killed 100 people, you gave me a medal, and I killed 2 people, now you are punishing me. Why? One killing was on the order of the government. One killing was on his own accord. So similarly, even if there is killing, even if there is violence, because we do it on the order of Krishna, we will be rewarded. And the plants who became, whose bodies were now used to serve Krishna as, Krishna Prasad, they become also benefited, and the person who eats them also benefited. Full benefit for everyone. Whereas if we do for our own sense gratification, everything is sinful. Everybody suffers. So that's the thing. We are not after vegetarianism. We are only about Krishna Prasad. Milk is not vegetarian. Who says milk is vegetarian? Does it come from vegetable? Why do we call it vegetarian? Wrong classification even. Oh, vegan and vegetarian. Why? What is vegetarian? Does it come from vegetable? Milk? What kind of milk is that? It's not vegetarian, but we still eat. Because it is sanctioned by Krishna. Tobacco is vegetarian. You can smoke, right? Ganja is also vegetarian. So vegetarian, this is not a proper classification of food. Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic, and Shuddha Sattvic, which is Prasadam. This is the proper classification of food. It doesn't matter where it comes from. Whatever is sanctioned, that we should eat. Okay, some other questions which are not really relevant. So it's already very late, so we will stop it here. Any other questions, we can always discuss Prasadam with the devotees, and even other times. You can always approach the devotees, right? So we will stop it here. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanand.